Put your hands outside the window! Passenger! U.S. Besson, we believe you may have a gun! 45.
We're on scene pretty quickly and transported that individual to the hospital where he was pronounced deceased.
I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened, but we did see him, and I'm so sorry to hear that.
It's what I'm able to do right now because I'm homeless, and you can't, in reality, you can't really have a real job when you're homeless. You don't have nowhere to take a shower. You don't have, you know what I'm saying? Or
Oregon, the crown jewel of the Pacific Northwest. Known as the Beaver State for its hardworking spirit and endless green landscapes, it has long stood as a symbol of the American dream, a place where innovation meets nature, drawing dreamers from every corner of the nation. Yet behind that peaceful facade lies a harsher truth, a state wrestling with shadows that threaten to dim its light. Just a few days ago, on the 6th of October 2025, Alan Hammond, an ordinary man, maybe just passing through downtown Portland, fell on Southwest 3rd Avenue, the victim of a cold-blooded shooting. That's not just a number in a report. It's a human life taken, a family broken, and a community left with another deep scar.
With like a lot of narcotics use and things like that. We are pretty used to that, but never anything this violent.
We're on scene pretty quickly and transported that individual to the hospital where he was pronounced deceased.
I don't know what happened, really. I really don't know what happened, but we did see him, and I'm so sorry to hear that. The fact that it only happened 2 hours ago and he already died, that's so heartbreaking.
In the heart of Portland, the air carries not only the rich aroma of coffee, but also the echo of gunfire and the quiet sorrow of homeless encampments stretched along the rain-soaked sidewalk. Homelessness has become a spark of instability, feeding despair and spreading unrest. From the opioid shadows haunting Pearl District's tent camps to financial scams that have drained $201 million this year from vulnerable seniors, Oregon's challenges expose something deeper, a widening rift between prosperity and pain. According to the 2025 point-in time count from HUD, Oregon now leads the nation in unsheltered homeless children. Around 18,000 people wander its streets, a sharp rise from last year. And in Multnomah County alone, another 1,277 lives have slipped into homelessness. Those so-called tent cities aren't temporary solutions anymore. They've become haunting symbols of a system that's failed. Have you ever paused to imagine the children growing up in those rain-drenched tents, unsure if tomorrow will bring safety, warmth, or food? This video dives into the heart of Oregon's struggle, exposing the roots of a deepening social decay. It traces the rise of homelessness through hard data and personal stories, revealing how these forces intertwine and feed one another. In doing so, it confronts not just Oregon's reality, but a warning for America itself. Can a state so full of promise find its way back before the cracks turn into chasms? The answer depends not on despair, but on the courage and compassion of us all.
Saying these people are at work, they can't move their stuff, so you're going to take their stuff and throw it away.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you just did. And you're going to arrest me? You're going to arrest me for not going to some fucking place?
I'm letting you talk, so wait, I'm going to let you finish.
I'm asking you, you're going to arrest me for going to some place for a misdemeanor.
Put it on.
For nothing. Because I'm homeless? That right there should be against the law.
Spreading shadows, social ills, and wandering souls on Oregon's streets. In the dim streets of Portland, where gunfire still echoes like a whisper of despair, Oregon's social wounds are carving a lasting ache into the hearts of its people. Just last September, 2 police officers opened fire on Brian Velasco Ruelas at a southeast Portland gas station, an act ruled lawful, yet one that left the community deeply shaken. Add to that the recent string of robberies, from the Oregon City bank heist in July to the armed holdup in McMinnville on October 6th, where the suspect now faces $1 million bail, and you begin to see a troubling picture of a society teetering on the edge.
Put your hands outside the window! Passenger! You especially, we believe you may have a gun!
And then there are Oregon's homeless encampments, sprawling clusters of tents that blur the line between survival and crime. It's heartbreaking to see how these spaces, once meant as refuge for those left behind by the system, have turned into gray zones of lawlessness. The stories pile up: the tent robbery in Portland that ended with an 18-year prison sentence, or the failed fentanyl deals in tent camps that led to more people behind bars. Each case adds fuel to a vicious cycle. Homelessness breeds crime. Crime deepens homelessness. On X, formerly Twitter, Portland residents express growing fear about the danger lurking near shelters. And who could blame them? It's not just about numbers, it's about that gnawing daily anxiety of living in a city where safety feels like a coin toss. The statistics reveal a painful truth. As of 2022, there were only about 2,000 available shelter beds for an estimated 6,000 people in need each year. When the most basic human need, shelter, goes unmet, chaos naturally fills the void. Oregon's homelessness crisis has become a full-blown humanitarian disaster. Around 18,000 people now live without a roof over their heads, a number that surged between 2022 and 2023, according to the 2025 point-in-time count. In Multnomah County alone, 1,277 new individuals fell into homelessness this past year, while only 865 managed to climb out. In Portland, tent cities keep spreading like wildfire, painting a grim picture of isolation, addiction, and despair. The numbers are even more distressing for children. Oregon now leads the nation in unsheltered homeless kids with a shocking 19.9 per 10,000 children, nearly 14 times the national average. And I can't help but ask, how can we let a generation of children grow up in that kind of cold uncertainty? To make matters worse, the influx of refugees and migrants has complicated an already fragile system. Many who come chasing the American dream end up trapped in the same nightmare, crushed by unaffordable rent and a brutal housing shortage. The roots of this crisis run deep. A chronic lack of affordable housing for low-income workers, Portland's skyrocketing rents forcing thousands onto the streets, and fentanyl's deadly grip leaving bodies and spirits broken. Layer on top of that the weak local infrastructure, too few health services, addiction programs, or job training initiatives, and the cracks become canyons. But there's one question I can't shake. Are we blaming individuals for choices they never really had? Or is the real fault buried in a system full of holes, too wide for anyone to climb out of? Drugs, mental health, and homelessness in Oregon, the hidden roots of the crisis. Homelessness in Oregon, especially in Portland, isn't something new. But when you look closer at what's really driving it, one question keeps echoing. Why are so many people living on the sidewalks, in tents, and under bridges in a state that isn't exactly poor? Is it that we've stopped caring, or have we simply ignored society's deepest wounds for far too long? At its core, two forces keep feeding this crisis: drugs and untreated mental illness. And together, they've created a storm that no one seems prepared to weather. The fentanyl epidemic has been like gasoline poured on a fire. This powerful synthetic opioid has swept through Portland and across Oregon, leaving devastation in its wake. People addicted to fentanyl lose their footing, their jobs, their homes, their health, and often their hope. Addiction becomes a trap. You lose everything because of it, and then you use more to escape the pain of losing everything. Untreated mental illness only deepens that spiral. Many who are homeless in Oregon aren't just struggling to find shelter, they're battling their own mind. Depression, anxiety, PTSD, these aren't abstract medical terms. They're everyday realities for people trying to survive on the streets. Some suffer after years of trauma, abuse, or the corrosive effects of drugs. When your mind turns against you, holding down a job, maintaining relationships, or even facing the day becomes almost impossible. So, can we really say they just didn't try hard enough? Or do we have to face a harder truth that many are victims of a healthcare system that never treated their pain in the first place? Meanwhile, Portland's housing costs have soared out of reach. Since the pandemic, luxury apartments have sprung up across the city, while affordable units have nearly vanished. Over the past 5 years, average rents have climbed by about 25%, yet wages have inched up only 10%. That gap has become a chasm, swallowing families who once barely made ends meet. When people get evicted, they don't disappear. They show up in shelters, cars, or tents by the freeway. But housing is only part of the story, because even if we built enough affordable homes tomorrow, what about those battling addiction and mental illness with no medical care, no therapy, and no safety net? What about the thousands cycling in and out of emergency rooms and jails because there's nowhere else for them to go? The question we must ask, and it's a painful one, is this: have we allowed people, especially those fighting addiction and mental illness, to be crushed by a system that withholds compassion? When society stops seeing them as human, when treatment and empathy are replaced by judgment and bureaucracy, aren't we in a way abandoning them to fight their monsters alone? The impact of homelessness on society and communities in Oregon. Homelessness in Oregon isn't just another social issue, it's a test of the community's conscience. Every day, people in Portland and across the state walk past clusters of tents lining the sidewalks, where men, women, and even children cling to a fragile sense of safety. These camps aren't simply places without roofs. They're spaces filled with illness, loneliness, and that quiet ache of being forgotten. Can we really turn away knowing that, on any given night, nearly 1,500 people in Portland have nowhere to call home? The crisis is taking a heavy toll on public health. Diseases like hepatitis, tuberculosis, and other infections are spreading rapidly through these unsanitary areas. Living in damp tents or under bridges with little access to clean water or medical care, the homeless become painfully vulnerable. The fentanyl epidemic only worsens the situation, robbing people of their strength, judgment, and sometimes their lives. It's not just a moral crisis, it's a public health emergency. So what will it take for us to stop this spiral before it infects every layer of our society? The damage goes beyond the streets. These social ills are eroding the quality of life for everyone. Crimes like theft, assault, and vandalism are on the rise, leaving residents anxious in their own neighborhoods. But the truth is more complex than headlines suggest. Many homeless people aren't the threat, they're the victims, often exploited by drug dealers or criminal groups. Can we really call this a fair or safe community when the most vulnerable are left to fend for themselves on the margins of survival? Oregon's homelessness crisis can no longer be ignored or brushed aside. It's not just a statistic, it's a moral reckoning, one that demands action from all of us, not just local officials or outreach workers. If we fail to act now, we risk becoming a society that counts the suffering but never cures it. The choice before us is simple yet profound. Either we restore dignity to the forgotten, or we watch compassion fade from the heart of our communities. Solutions and challenges in addressing homelessness in Oregon. Homelessness in Oregon, especially in Portland, has grown far beyond a housing crisis. It's now a humanitarian emergency, one that's testing the limits of policy, compassion, and community endurance. While city and state leaders have launched programs and reforms to curb the problem, the progress so far remains painfully modest compared to the scale of suffering visible on the streets. Programs like Housing First, which prioritize getting people into stable housing before addressing other needs like addiction or employment, have shown real promise. Thousands have found a roof because of it, but even so, the surge in homelessness across Oregon's urban centers has far outpaced what these efforts can handle. The truth is, a roof alone isn't enough when the ground beneath remains unstable. Portland's government has made strides by expanding affordable housing projects and temporary shelters. But funding gaps, staff shortages, and heavy dependence on community organizations have turned these efforts into a patchwork rather than a lasting solution. Despite more shelters and healthcare outreach, addiction and mental illness continue to block long-term recovery. Can we truly lift people out of homelessness without addressing the root causes, the untreated trauma, the drug dependency, the mental illnesses left to fester? Budget constraints are another serious choke point. The demand for affordable housing, mental health services, and addiction treatment keeps soaring, but government and nonprofit resources lag far behind. Even when projects get the green light, bureaucratic delays and construction costs drag them down. The result? Plans that look good on paper but crumble in execution. So what can be done? What concrete steps can bridge the gap between vision and reality? Part of the answer lies in coordination. Oregon's homelessness response system is fragmented. Local governments, nonprofits, and faith-based groups all doing their best, but often without synchronization. That disconnection means people slip through the cracks, missing out on vital aid, simply because one agency doesn't know what the other is doing. For someone living on the edge, that lack of continuity can mean the difference between survival and despair. But maybe it's time to rethink the approach altogether. Instead of pouring energy into short-term fixes, what if Oregon invested more deeply in long-term, integrated solutions? Building stable, affordable housing, expanding mental health and addiction care, offering real job training and community reintegration, these aren't quick wins, but they're the kind of change that lasts. Perhaps what Oregon needs most isn't just another round of emergency measures, but a shift in mindset, from managing homelessness to ending the conditions that keep it alive. Because the real measure of success isn't how many tents get cleared from sidewalks, but how many lives are rebuilt with dignity, hope, and a future. Proposals and feasible solutions for the future. Why does homelessness in Oregon keep rising, even after years of programs, funding, and public concern? The answer may lie in the fact that most current strategies tackle the symptoms, not the roots. It's painful to admit, but many homeless individuals receive only temporary help, a few nights of shelter, a short-term voucher, before being sent back into the same cycle that trapped them in the first place. One promising path forward is the development of sustainable housing models, projects that go beyond just providing shelter. The tiny homes movement, for example, has shown real results. These small, affordable dwellings offer more than walls and a roof. They give people safety, stability, and a sense of dignity. In cities like Eugene, these communities are coupled with job training, healthcare, and mental health counseling, creating an environment where individuals can truly rebuild their lives. Could this be the direction Oregon needs to take statewide? Many believe that models like these don't just house the homeless, they empower them to start over. Still, lasting success demands a comprehensive support system. Housing alone can't mend lives shattered by addiction, trauma, or mental illness. State and local governments must strengthen access to healthcare, addiction recovery programs, and counseling, especially in the face of the ongoing fentanyl epidemic. At the same time, Oregon needs more open collaboration between public agencies, nonprofits, and the private sector. Business partnerships can help fund affordable housing, provide jobs, and expand community-based solutions far beyond what government budgets can manage alone. Could a stronger public-private model finally turn the tide? The reality is, today's policies have reached their limits. As housing prices continue to climb and social ills deepen, patchwork fixes won't hold. The only way forward is to rethink the system itself, shifting from reaction to prevention, from emergency aid to empowerment. So the lingering question remains, are we ready to face the truth that ending homelessness will require not just compassion, but a complete reimagining of how we build, heal, and care for one another? Conclusion. When I think about the streets of Portland, once lined with green trees and laughter, now shadowed by quiet pain, my heart feels heavy. Oregon's social wounds from random shootings to petty thefts have eased, with murders dropping 51% in the first half of this year. Yet the troubles linger like ghosts among tent camps, where 18,000 people are now unhoused. In Multnomah County, another 1,277 have fallen into homelessness this past year. Most tragic of all, Oregon leads the nation in homeless children, 14 times the national average, a heartbreaking mark on our conscience. But we can't stand by. Oregon must expand shelter capacity, fight financial scams that rob $201 million, and reignite compassion, the same spirit that helped Portland cut violence. Have you ever thought that one act of kindness could save a life? Maybe it's time to admit that money alone can't fix broken systems. Real change needs heart. Oregon, long a land of dreamers, still has a chance to rise. With violent crime down 15% nationwide, perhaps it's time to follow that light, not with fear, but with courage and compassion. Can we turn this pain into hope?